Hey, book besties. Welcome to More Than a Book Club podcast. I'm your host, Leyna.
And I'm your other host, LJ.
And we are in the middle of a snowstorm here. I think it's countrywide. So it's not just us in Texas.
Yeah.
I feel like most of the U.S. is having this snowstorm. And so we're like, let's get ahead for all of our recordings since you're off of school.
I mean, right?
This is Thursday, and we haven't had school all week.
Nope. No, we sure haven't. And I know you were out and about a little bit yesterday going to work and stuff, Leyna. I know over here where I am, like the neighborhood's really bad still. The roads are so bad. But then you get out on the main roads that have been treated, like the freeways and stuff, everything's fine. So now that I know that today, like I wasn't sure if we were going to be off or not, but I don't live like in my district. So Leyna lives closer to my district, but like on the border pretty much. And so I heard that the roads are really bad still, or they were at least yesterday. I don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. Hopefully, I mean, my kids would not be sad if they missed a full week of school.
I know. And I will say normally I wouldn't either, but so I teach A-B days. So last Friday was an A day and tomorrow is a B day. So it would be perfect if we go back tomorrow. Otherwise,
yes,
it's going to throw things off for Monday. Now, don't get me wrong. If we're off again, I'm like, bonus. I will, because I am not afraid to get out of my neighborhood now. So I'm like, if we're off tomorrow, fine. That's 2 days to get out and go write because I have not been able to write really at home. And so I'm so excited. After we record, I'm going out and using my Starbucks gift card.
Do it. That is exciting. But we thought it would be a fun topic to talk about rereads, comfort reads. And I took this topic in 2 different ways. So we'll see how you took it. This is what happens when we don't fully communicate, I guess. But I took it as comfort rereads and then WTF rereads. Rereads where I'm like, I need to go and look at and be like, oh my gosh, what just happened? I need to go back and reread this book.
Okay. I think I took it as comfort rereads. And then it's kind of a similar thing. Books I wish I could read again for the very first time.
Yes.
And so I feel like a lot of like the books that are like WTF moments would fall into there, except then I still wouldn't have the info. So I think we're dancing around the same stuff.
We're gonna make it work.
We are. So
I know one of your first comfort reads.
Yes.
And I bet everybody here already knows it as well.
Oh, they 100% know. We'll give them like a 3, 2, 1 to guess before I reveal it. Okay, what do you think LJ's number 1 comfort read is? 3, 2, 1. All together now?
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Yes. It is Jurassic Park. And so much so that right now I have 2 Audible credits and I need to cancel my Audible because my like little cheap, like, here, stay, we'll give it to you cheap is up. And I'm actually thinking about, because I'm like, I know people might be like, well, you should get a book that you want to read. Well, I prefer to listen to books that either, if it's fiction that I've already read, or memoirs or true crime. And honestly, I can get so many of those from the library and like, I don't reread those. So I'm like, let's be smart about this. And I'm like, maybe it'd be good I don't own Jurassic Park in audiobook form.
Okay.
So I was like, maybe. And then
choice.
The Lost World, obviously. So, but I'm still on the fence. I'm undecided. But yes, Jurassic Park is probably my number 1 comfort read. I know I just read it like a few months ago, but I kind of want to reread it again now because I just love it. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Except it does, because it was like one that I read in middle school. So
I was wondering if it had more to do like with the time in your life that you read it and what was going on in life. Yeah.
I think so. Okay, what about you? What's your first comfort reread?
So we've talked about this before. I don't generally reread books.
That's true.
So this was a little bit different for me. So when I looked at this, I was like, okay, looking back at books that I really love and that I would go read again. And the first one that came to mind was Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery.
I knew you were going to say that one.
I just read it for the first time last year, and I could reread that again and again and again because it was so beautiful. If you haven't read that, go read it. It's such a good book, and
so delightful.
It's not just for kids, because when I think our book club had discussed reading it as like an add-on, because I had never read it before, and everybody was like, "You've never read it? You need to go read this." And I was like, it's a kid's book. I'm probably not going to enjoy it. And then I just absolutely fell in love with it. And I cannot say enough good things about that book. And it's a comfort read. Like,
yeah,
it is like a bowl of chicken soup. Everybody go read it.
They all are. And I did reread that. So I would agree. That's a good one. That's a good, like, actual warm and cozy one. I don't think I would not recommend Jurassic Park to other people as a cozy read. But I do think you're right. I think it's the timing, a formative time that was like a time of transitioning from more kids' book to adult books. All right, let me see my next one. Let me see what I want to pick from here. So the Inheritance Games. I think I've mentioned this one when we did the episode. When we did the episode about books that get you out of a reading slump, and that is one I've read the book I think 3 times, and it's just so, I don't know, like it's just it's cozy. It just makes you happy. It's fun. I like the writing. I want to be in that world. I just love it. I still remember the first time I read it. By the way, this is when I was reading like multiple books a day. And I was like, I don't know what to read next. And I was like overwhelmed because I had reading goals, like impossible ones, like 200 books in the year. Our friend Emily was like, I think you would really like this book. And I managed to get it from the library, like digital library, and read it that day. And I remember sitting on my patio and starting it. I was like, oh, like I'm hooked, but not like in the like, I got to speed read it, but just the vibes of the book. It wraps you up. I don't know. It did. It spoke to me. It drew me in.
I agree. It is an awesome book. I've read it at least twice because I know I read it the first time and then I reread it whenever I read the second book in the series, I think, or the third book. Because I think I reread the whole series, but it's a good book.
This is what I think. I think Emily and I read it early, and then we knew the second book was coming out. So I reread it, and I think you read it but then we all reread it for the third book. And then maybe I haven't read any beyond the third book, though I own some.
I don't know if I have. Maybe.
Because it did like the Hawthorne brothers.
Yes.
And stuff like
and
that.
I know when we were in Austin, they had, because Jennifer Lynn Barnes, who's the author, and it was one side started from one person's perspective, and then you flip the book over and it started from another person's perspective. Because I remember we were like, that's a really cool concept.
Yes. It is it's so cool. Anyway. All right, what about you?
So for me, I love a good found family story. So House on the Cerulean Sea.
I knew you were going to have that one on there.
Top tier. I love it. I love everything about it. I know I've talked about this book before, but it is just a comfort reread. I have read this book more than once. I may have even read it 3 times, which
look at you, Miss. I don't reread books. Impressive.
It is a really good book. I have not read the follow-up because there's a second book in the series, Beyond the Cerulean Sea, I think it's called. And I'm almost scared to read it because I loved House on the Cerulean Sea so much that I'm worried that it's not going to hold up. So if anybody has read the second book in the series, you have to let me know. Is it safe to read?
But know that like Leyna holds the House on the Cerulean Sea like it's like top tier. So like if you know the sequel is not equally top tier, you need to tell her, because the last thing we need is this to like put a damper on this world that is so beautiful.
Because it really was.
I know.
And it's just the found family of all the kids, the adults in the story that are also looking for a family, and they find like it's just a beautiful book.
It's so good. I agree. All right, let me see. I'm gonna jump around from my list because I just made
Okay.
a okay, here's another one that you're gonna be like, "This is really on your comfort reads," and I also wanna go read it right now. Gillian Flynn's Sharp Objects. I know it doesn't make sense, but I love that book. That's my favorite of her books, and yeah.
I haven't read one of her books in a while, but
Mhm,
I was all about her for several years.
mhm,
Because she did Sharp Objects.
mhm.
What was her other book? Pretty
Okay,
something?
okay, so there was Gone Girl was her big
Yes.
popular one, and here's the
Mhm.
thing with that one, a lot of people that go read it now, that became thriller fans before that are like, "Oh, this is so unoriginal." I'm like, "Actually, no,
It was
it's
the
not
original.
unoriginal. It was the original. She walked so all these other authors could run." And yeah, then there's also Dark Places is the other one.
Which one was about the, like, satanic was that Sharp Objects or was that Dark
That
Places?
was, Dark Places. Dark Places
Like,
had
the
so
older
much in
brother.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that and it had so much all of her books, honestly, Gone Girl is probably her least good of her books,
I would
it's the most
agree with
popular
that.
one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
But
think
you
it
will
was just
notice,
so different.
it was at the time, it was so innovative and so unexpected, and if you haven't read it, I mean, read that with a grain of salt, thinking if you're a big thriller fan and you haven't read it, you will read it and be like, well, other authors have done this. And it's like, yes, go look up the publishing dates because she really, I will never forget. I had a friend who, we went to college together and then we were coworkers. And I remember seeing her post on, Facebook that she had stayed up all night finishing a book, reading it in her bathroom because her roommate or her boyfriend, it was not a roommate, it was her boyfriend at the time, she got to a certain point and he was going to sleep and she needed to keep reading. So she went in the bathroom so she could have the light on and sat there. Once the first twist happens, a major one, she had to sit there and read sitting on the toilet the rest of the night, and I was like, "Huh, what is this book? I'm gonna need to read this," and I get it. So,
Sometimes the
yeah.
book is just that good that you need to
Yes,
I will
and
say
the
I finished a book last night. Actually, it
Ooh.
was
Oh,
this
yeah, you
morning at
texted me, keep going.
4 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and I was like, "I need to finish this book." Um, and it's a book that hasn't come out yet, so you can pre-order it, but
Mhm.
it's "This Story Might Save Your Life," and it was so good. It had so many good twists, and last night when I went to bed, I was like, "I need to stay awake to read this book," but I just couldn't. I was like, "But the twist is so good."
Oh my gosh, that's
So,
awesome.
I feel your friend because I was, like, literally falling asleep trying
To
to
finish, yeah,
listen
to
to
keep
this
going.
book, but I was like, I know that me listening to audiobooks at night is not always a good thing because I do fall asleep.
I think it would make me fall asleep unless I'm coloring. I do like to listen to them and color on my iPad. That's fun.
That's usually what I do too, and so
Mhm.
whenever I put it in and I'm like, "I'm just gonna listen before bed." No, it's not gonna happen.
Well, you know what's funny? I have never fallen asleep coloring yet, but I used to be obsessed with Mexican Train, and there is an app version of the game Mexican Train, which is a dominoes game. And it's so funny because there were multiple times I woke up with my iPad on top of me and I was in this is our old house, our upstairs living room on the couch, that I was doing that while I was waiting for the kids to fall asleep. And then I fell asleep and woke up with the iPad just on my chest. And this was an old iPad because I have an iPad Pro and have had it for 7 years. And so it would have been a previous one because I didn't have a pencil or anything. So I would just wake up and it was just flopped on my chest. It's fine.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
The things we
All
fall
right.
asleep to.
The things we fall asleep to. All right. Are you counting that as yours? Should I do another one or you want to do another one?
Go for another one.
Okay. I've got two Agatha Christie's. One of them is And Then There Were None, which is my favorite Agatha Christie, followed very closely by and okay, when I say this one is really a comfort read, this next one. It is not super popular. You might read it and be like, "It's really not that great, LJ," but for whatever reason, to me, it is a comfort read, and it's called Murder in Mesopotamia, and it happens at like an archaeological dig, and they have like a compound and someone gets murdered and there's no forced entry. And so it's like trying to figure out, like there's like a big courtyard. So like you can only get in through exterior windows along the outside or doors on the inside. And so it's like, how did this murder happen? And honestly, I've read it like 4 times and right now I don't exactly remember. But it's a comfort
That is the
one.
thing that gets me about Agatha Christie books for you, because you can read them and then like
I forget.
forget what happened. And like that's the whole thing about an Agatha Christie book. It's all about the mystery, and you'll be like, I have no idea.
Yeah,
I
now I
don't-
do know. Now you can laugh at this. It took like the third or fourth time of rereading, and then there were none before I remembered exactly who it was. Now, to be fair, there are multiple, like, there's so many characters, and there are some that you're like, wait, which one are you? Which one are you? So, to be fair, but there's one that I also didn't put on my list that I also love. That is I think the Murder in Mesopotamia might be Hercule Poirot. The other one that I didn't put on here is They Do It with Mirrors, and it's a Miss Marple. And that one I do know is because I remember reading it at my old house on my front porch because my back patio did not have a cover. And I kind of had a bush that I could kind of hide behind. And so I would sit out there, and I have a memory of reading, like, kind of wrapped up in a blanket. It wasn't like super cold, but it was, I get cold. So having some coffee, and I just remember like that cozy feeling. And so I know that one's because it's also, I wouldn't say it's a super great one, but anyway, there you go. You're up.
Okay, I have a couple of books that I'll kind of lump together because
Okay.
I felt like it was similar themes, I guess. And it's all about like the family dynamics.
Okay.
And so it's The Road to Tender Hearts by Annie Hartnett, which I read this last year, and The
Hmm.
Guncle by Stephen Rowley. And
How could I forget
both of
about the
those
Guncle?
books were so wonderful. The Road to Tender Hearts, it reminded me of have you ever watched Little Miss Sunshine?
Yeah. You know what? I was just thinking about that movie a couple of days ago.
Apparently
So
it just had
yes,
its
I did.
20th anniversary,
Oh my
because I
God.
was like, oh
That's
my gosh, I'm
impossible. That
I'm
is
so
so
old.
impossible.
I saw something on social media the other day about it, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Maybe
But
that's why it popped into my head. I don't know.
it was it reminded me of that same kind of spirit, I guess. And there's been a couple of books that are similar to that. And The Guncle is just, and both of them, The Guncle and The Road to Tender Hearts, they're about taking in kids who have experienced trauma. So The Road to Tender Hearts, it's the mom kills the dad and then
Oh my gosh.
accidentally poisons the son, but it's an accident, but she thinks she killed him, so then she kills herself. And so then these
Oh my
children
gosh.
have no parents, and their grandfather was really horrible, but his brother was an okay person. And so the mom, before she killed herself, said, please let my one remaining daughter, because she thought she had killed her son.
Hmm.
She said, please have my daughter go to my uncle. And so he gets these
Okay.
kids. He is an alcoholic, trying to be so like, there's so much going on here that it did remind me of The Guncle, and that the kids have trauma. The guardian has trauma as well, and they're all kind of figuring it out together. It's kind of like the kids and the adults are both figuring out their lives at the same time. So those books are comfort reads to me, because it's like none of us have it figured out.
No, we sure do not.
It doesn't matter how old you are. We're all still trying to get it right. We're all still trying to figure out
Hmm.
life. And sometimes really bad things can happen, and then it can have a positive impact. And so that is a comfort to me, to think about like,
Yeah.
okay, this really awful thing happened to these kids, but they're finding a new life and a new way forward. And the adults in their lives are also coming to terms with maybe they don't have it all figured out, and the kids are helping them find their place in the world. Because I think that as a parent, your your kids look up to you, but at the same
Hmm.
time, our kids are teaching us so much too.
Yeah.
And that is always eye-opening to me whenever I'm like, "Oh my gosh, my, 15-year-old just dropped this truth bomb on me."
Right?
And I suddenly, am learning from her, or, my son will say something and I'm just like, "That was profound. How did that happen?"
Yeah.
So, I like books that kind of reflect that real life transition of, um, kind of we're all trying to figure it out at the same time.
Mhm. Yeah. That's reasonable. Okay, I'm gonna do another obscure ones
Okay.
that you might be like, "I've never heard of this." But what's really funny, because I voice texted my notes on my phone, and I was looking at this, I'm like, "What is this book?" It misunderstood me, but I fixed it. I should have seen what it said. It was like Mr. So and so's daughter, but really what I meant was Mistral's Daughter, Scruples, Princess Daisy, and pretty much any book by Judith Krantz, who is the queen of epic family, multi-generational romance novels in a sense. But they're
I
way
don't
more
know
than
if I've
romance.
ever
Like that,
read this.
did we not? I thought we did Mistral's Daughter for book club. That was like it took place in France and it like went through like the 20s through like the
And you
80s
said it
and it
was
was like this art,
Judith Krantz?
huh? I thought we did it for book club, but maybe we didn't. Anyway, but Mistral's Daughter, Scruples, Princess Daisy, they all have miniseries too. So,
Okay.
uh, but and I can't think of the name. Oh, Scruples. What's really cool in that, you have a very young Kim Cattrall in a very semi-small role. Like it, but she's in it. And then Princess Daisy has, oh my gosh, what is his name? Rupert Everett or something? He's in it. He plays a bad guy. Sorry, guys. But they're so good. So, like, Mistral's Daughter is about an artist going through like multi generational. He had like a love affair with someone, and then she has a love affair with a married man and has a daughter with a married man. But then that obviously, like, things happen, so it's her, like, taking care of her daughter, and then her daughter eventually, spoiler alert, has an affair with the artist, and that's, like, his one true love, and then they have a daughter. It's just, like, going through these multi-generationals and things, and there's some really hard stuff in that because it does go through World War II. And then Scruples is about a woman who created this department store and women's catalog and all this stuff, and it's really good, like, it just I don't know. And then Princess Daisy is about, like, a princess of an obscure fake country in Europe, and it goes through her life, and part of it is, like, her dad dies, and so she gets to live with her I don't know if it was his wife or girlfriend, whatever, because her mom had died when she was young, and then she had a twin who was locked away in an asylum because she was not full like, she didn't have full mental capacity, and then she becomes a famous model. I don't know, like, I'm not doing these books justice, but
I'm like, "You
they
sold me on them." The idea
okay.
of the multi-generational, I'm like, "Ooh, that sounds really
Yes.
good."
That they are really good, and then if you want something that's more, like, British, that's similar, and it's, Barbara Taylor Bradford's A Woman of Substance, which is, like, the worst name ever of a book, but it's so good, and she has sequels to that one. These are, like, monster thick books, by the way, at least in the mass market paperbacks that I read when my eyes could see them in the '90s. And it's a similar saga, and it's all most of these are about at some point in it, like, a woman having to fight her way in a man's world, but it's not like, that part's not as heavy, but they're so good. Now I wanna go reread. I've read Mistral's Daughter so many times, like, that was my grandmother read these too, and so my grandmother wanted me to read Mistral's Daughter so badly, and it was out of publication, so she had to and this is before, like, the internet was what the internet is now, and so she got me a used copy of a hardback that she had to shop around to find because it's her favorite, or it was her favorite. She has passed away, but anyway. Alright, you're up.
So, this is one that we both read. I wanna say it was last year. It was one of our
Okay,
favorite books, The Wedding
okay.
People by Alison Esbach.
Yes.
That book was
So good.
so good. I think that I put it on here because it was so funny, but so poignant at the
Mhm.
same time. And just the combination of the really hard subject matter, but also the funniness of it, it just resonated really well with me. And I already want to go back and reread it. So that's going to be one of my goals this year, was to actually reread some books.
Ooh.
So this came at a very good time, because I'm like, I do want to go back and reread that, because I do think that that would be, I want to revisit some of these books that I've just really loved over the years.
It is fun. As an avid rereader, it is quite fun. Which, that brings me to another series that I don't know how many times I've read. I also own the audiobooks, and I've listened to the audiobooks 3 or 4 times as well. And this was before
Can I guess
audiobooks could
it?
be sped up. Go ahead.
Is it Twilight?
Yes. It is Twilight. And I know when I first read the books, and I might have shared this story before on here, but I had a friend in town. I think it was for one of my best friend Shannon's weddings. And back then, like, do you remember you would buy something and then you would get Entertainment Weekly for free for a year? Do you remember? It was like weird. This is back in 2008. So I was getting Entertainment Weekly, and I really never even looked at it, but there was one with that it had just arrived, so it was sitting out in my house, and she was staying with me. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is Twilight." I remember her. She talked my ear off about the Twilight books. And we ended up going to Barnes and Noble at Stonebriar Mall. And they were all out, like, it's like the new, because the 4th book had just come out and the first movie was coming out. And so she was like, "I will buy you the first book." So I got the first couple of books, and I went home, and I remember I read 50 pages the first night, and I was like, "Okay, whatever." Then the next night I picked back up and I finished it. Then the next night I read half of the second. So then I had to go back to Barnes and Noble and got the last 2, which were still in hardback. So they were so expensive. And I read them all in a week.
They're so
And
thick.
Yes. And I was just like, Edward is my book boyfriend. And I will tell you, he was my book boyfriend until he was dethroned by Reese from that guitar series. Anyway, but yeah, I love those. And I went to make sure, because at one point, okay, back in the day, it was so confusing doing iTunes. And so I had an iTunes account, and then my ex-husband had one, and then we got married, and like you could not combine them. We tried to, it's fine. So I ended up, guys, I purchased the audiobooks twice because I lost my original account. And so I went to make sure that I still had them, and I do, because I'm like, might be time for a re-listen to those.
I just remember was it 2020, they came out with the different point of view, where instead of Bella, it was like Bo or something. The vampire Edward was a girl.
Yes, like
so they gender swapped it.
They gender swapped. And that actually came out, I think, a couple years before that. But we read it for book club.
Yes.
And it was definitely entertaining.
It was something.
Oh, I should clarify.
It was not one of my favorites.
I do not like Midnight Sun. I read it once. I will not read it again.
Reread that one.
We waited a decade for that damn book because 200 pages were leaked while she was writing it. So she refused to publish it. And then she finally did. And it seriously was let's convince everyone that Bella is amazing. And I just was over it. I was like, nope, 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 nope. Can't do it.
I did really enjoy the original Twilight books.
Mm-hmm.
I went all in before the movies came out. I loved them. And when the movies came out, I enjoyed them. Some of them felt a little bit, but
yeah, I get you.
So I guess another one that I have on here might be getting close to the end of my comfort rereads.
That's fine. I think we need to switch gears to the other ones too.
So this is the same author. It's The Wishing Game and The Book Witch, which comes out in May by Meg Schaefer. So The Wishing Game came out like 2-3 years ago. And then she has a new one coming out in May that both you and I have read. And we've talked about it before. It's an amazing book. You should go pre-order it because you will love it. Both of those books, it felt like, because they're Well, The Book Witch isn't really a retelling
No, it's not.
because The Wishing Game is more of a retelling, and then her other book, The Lost Story, is a retelling. But
Yes.
The Book Witch is kind of like an original concept.
Mhm.
But either way, you're gonna love it.
Mhm.
and and it
They're
felt
both so good.
like comforting, and that you knew with The Wishing Game kind of how things were gonna go. And then with The Book Witch, it's all about books. So there's just this comfort in they're diving
Mhm.
into books, they're diving into other stories.
Yes.
So the comfort in knowing some of those stories, and then also the excitement of a new story within the
Mhm.
story. So
Yes.
it felt really good. I would highly encourage everyone to go read those. I have started rereading The Book Witch.
Which
It's
is
really
good.
good. Yeah.
'Cause we need to
Uh,
write the
the
book
reading
guide
guide.
for the It's fine.
It's
We didn't
fine.
know when we first read it that that's where we were headed, so it's fine. All right, my last one that I'll do for comfort, and I just wanna say, like, I wanna give you permission to our audience. If you don't already reread books from your youth, I wanna give you permission to do that. I will occasionally like, last fall, I reread some R.L. Stine books, right? I will sometimes be like, I remember the story of a Babysitter's Club book that I want to reread. And I do. And even like a Babysitter's Club Little Sister, like I've got them all, but I don't think it's that one. They're all over there. And, if I say do it. There's one of the Babysitter Club books that is because they had the super special ones. Those I loved so much because then they were multiple points of view. And there's one where they go to camp and they're counselors, which I'm like, by the way, 13-year-olds would not be the counselors at a camp. But, when you're 13 or 12 or 11, 10, the idea of this is like, yes.
They're
And then
adults
there's one where
practically. Yeah.
yeah. And then there's one where they go on a cruise and they're babysitting for different families. And I'm sorry, again, a 12-year-old or 13-year-old would not be babysitting on the cruise and taking them to Disney without some adult with I'm sorry, just maybe in the 90s they would have,
So
honestly,
I was
but
about to
not now.
say, I did at the time when I was 14, maybe 14. I did overnight babysitting for a family that the dad was
So wild to
deployed
me.
and the
Yeah.
mom was a cocktail waitress. And so she just would stay out most of the night. I would take the kids from 4 o'clock. It's basically after
Mhm.
school, help them with their homework, give them their baths. I mean, they were probably second and fourth grade.
Mhm.
Feed them supper, put them to bed, all of that. And then I would stay the
Yeah.
night over there and then just get up in the morning. I made so much money. It's ridiculous. I look back at
Yeah,
it
that
now and
sounds
I'm like,
amazing.
it was crazy. But I think the mom just needed a break because the dad
Well,
was
yeah.
deployed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it worked out
Oh my
great.
gosh.
But I think about it now and I'm like, I should not have been babysitting overnight.
I
Like
know. I didn't do
feeding
that till I was
children.
an adult. Yeah, like I shouldn't have I didn't do that till I was an adult. So, all right, well, let's switch gears to, yours are like "Oh my gosh," wanna
Yes.
reread, but and mine some of mine have that on there. So I'll start with one of those,
And let's
The
do them like
Silent
rapid
Patient.
fire. Does that
Okay,
work? Okay.
Silent Patient, you go.
Sing Unburied Sing by Jessamine Ward.
I don't know what that is.
It's good.
That's okay. Okay, let's see, the ACOTAR series,
I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman.
Project Hail Mary.
Here One Moment by Leanne Moriarty.
Ooh, I haven't read that one, may have to add it. Verity by Colleen Hoover.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Mhm,
Alive and Beating by Rebecca Wolf.
that's a good one. All right, Scarlett St. Clair's A Touch of Darkness.
Ugh, I did
I
not like
love that book.
that was all of mine, so I don't have any more rapid fire to give.
Okay,
Um,
I can do a couple more.
Shoot them off.
Riley Sager's The Only One Left, Kristen Hanna's The Nightingale, which is coming out as a movie, and that is the one that I couldn't remember that the Fanning sisters are in that together. It's their first movie to be in together. And then all of Kara Thomas's books, but especially Little Monsters. She's a YA thriller author, and if you have not read her books,
They are
most famous
good.
one, The most famous one is probably the cheerleaders, but they're so good. All right, those are my rapid fire ones.
Yes. I'm excited about all of these because now I want to go read some of the ones that you mentioned. The Judith Krantz, that's now on my list. I'm going to have to go find some of these. And then I think
there
I
are
might have to go.
mini-series for most of them because, good old 80s mini-series. You got to have it.
That's what, in my head, I was like, I used to love V.C. Andrews. And part of it was because it was, I mean, talk about trauma, but there was generational trauma. But it was like all these family secrets. And I mean, I think a lot of people think of Flowers in the Attic, but there were so many other series. Dawn, trying to think of now all of them that I've read only read, I think many.
I think I've just read the first 3 of the Flowers in the Attic series. Maybe 4? I don't know. It's been a while.
I read everything I could. So that is something that I want to go back and see if I like it. I don't know if I want to reread Flowers in the Attic, but some of the other ones.
I know, right?
There's some things that we just can't do.
No. I remember reading that for the first time as an adult, sitting next to my then fiance and being like, uh-oh, wait a minute.
This is not going to end well.
And he's like, what the hell are you reading? And I was like, I picked it up for the $5 table at Borders Books. I don't know what I was getting into. It didn't say it on it was hardback too. It didn't say it on the book jacket. It didn't tell me. Yeah.
Have you seen the Instagram reel about the lady who picks up the book, and I think it's Behooved? And she picks up the book and starts reading it and doesn't realize that it's about on the wedding night the guy turns into a horse.
And she's like it like the comments are amazing. They're like, there's literally a picture on the front that like you have
a man
to know.
And then a horse.
Yes. And he's not like is it centaurs that are half human?
Yeah, he's not a centaur. He's a full-on horse.
He's a horse shapeshifter. Oh my gosh, that is one of the funniest videos, and the comments just deliver as well. But yeah.
If you haven't seen that, you can go, I'm sure you can find it somewhere. Google it.
Yes, the book is Behooved. Oh my gosh. It's, I'm like, oh no. No, thank you.
All right, friends. No. Well, that is it for today. If you are not already following us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, however you find your podcast, follow us, rate us, review us. You can also find us on Instagram, on our Etsy shop, and then we also have a Patreon. We're just expanding everywhere. We're taking over.
We are.
We have free stuff on Patreon. We have a $3 a month membership and a $5 a month membership. If you want to support us, either by a free, a $3, or a $5 membership, that would be a great way to give us a follow on there.
And if you go to the $3 and higher, you will soon have our episode on Heated Rivalry.
By the time that this episode is released, Heated Rivalry episode, the bonus episode, will be out. So,
and that's $3 and higher. You can get that in addition to other stuff. And don't, like Leyna was saying, even the free level gets some stuff for free.
So make sure to follow us on there. Otherwise, we will see you guys next week.
Yep. So,
bye.
All right. Bye. Thank you for listening to More Than a Book Club podcast. We are recorded and produced in McKinney, Texas.
Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.